Sunday marked the end of the American Bishop's 3-year National Eucharistic Revival with the Mass and Eucharistic procession at Our Lady of Angels Cathedral in Los Angeles. It also included a call to evangelize.
We are given a mission, the mission to transform the world.
The Eucharistic Revival does not end today, but continues in each one of us, you and me.
The closing celebrations held a special significance to some of the faithful who were impacted by the wildfires that erupted in early January. Dozens were killed and thousands of buildings were reduced to rubble. And as EWTN News President Montse Alvarado shows us, 6 months later, the forgotten victims were comforted by a surprise visit.
Amid the ashes of destruction, our Eucharistic Lord brings hope. The closing days of the National Eucharistic Pilgrimage included a mass for the victims and a procession through the streets of Altadena, a community in Southern California still reeling from a record-breaking wildfire in January. Following behind Christ were victims of the wildfires, including Tom and Theresa Costanzo. The home they spent 27 years remodeling, the home they walked into after their honeymoon, was consumed by the flames in a matter of hours.
The winds were so strong that night that the fire got ahead of the evacuation orders.
Thought that the fire department would save the neighborhood. We didn't think that it was way beyond their capability.
They hope to rebuild, but face many challenges.
It's a very toxic environment. It seems that we have to wait until we can rebuild in a healthy home without exposing ourselves. The last I heard, the prognosis is 2 to 3 years, maybe even 4 years.
Talking over 7,000. So just the sheer scale of it and the delays because of that. I know they try to speed things up, but it's just overwhelming.
Grateful for the Mass and procession, they mention a sign of God's presence that did survive.
90% of everything we ever owned is gone, except for an angel that we bought on a whim that survived in the middle of the rubble that used to be our house. That's
a clear, it's like for us, the symbol of hope and renewal.
Joining the events for the victims were 2 firefighters who found themselves in the same situation as the people they've dedicated their lives to help.
But this fire did something that I've never seen in my 32 years career. It was a blowtorch. It blowtorched our city.
This was a fire that it did everything that it's not supposed to. Those fires never come to the city and destroy a city. We've never seen that before.
And the tragedy brought them closer together.
Well, we were friends, but now we're brothers because we suffered the same thing. But to have that here, have those people here, bring the prayers, the faith, to me, it's special. It doesn't happen, ever. At least it's never happened here.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, coming to the church that I used to come as a kid, I was telling now, I remember coming to this church, my parents used to bring me here all the time. And then to see that here is just like, wow, so it is very joyful to see.
In Altadena, property after property sits empty. Some are marked with for sale signs as outside investors take advantage of buildable plots. Displaced victims like the Costanzos are eager to return to their hometowns, but worry it will take the government years to rebuild their houses. California is currently waiting on $40 billion in relief funds to advance through Congress and make it to the president's desk. Father Brendan Bussey, pastor of the Dolores Mission in downtown LA, reflects on the unseen community members who were also impacted by the fires.
So many of our community, especially here at Dolores Mission and around, who were working in that community, right? People who worked in the stores, people who cared for the gardens, people who took care of elders living in their homes. Sometimes our community is the unseen victim in some of that have lost their work, lost their income. So the fires deeply impacted us.
The fire in the Palisades was worse than the Altadena fire, destroying 3,000 more structures. One of those was Corpus Christi Church, where only the tabernacle survived. In a special moment, pilgrims stopped at Corpus Christi to pray for the parish.
Many people heard the beautiful story of the one thing that survived from this church, which was the tabernacle. And to me, that became such a sign of God's presence amongst us. I was really struck by, of course, the level of destruction, and got to meet many people last night who lost their homes.
One perpetual pilgrim spoke of God's providence in ending the National Eucharistic Revival in a city that needs his presence.
Only the Lord could have planned us being here. You know, when LA was decided as the final destination, nobody knew that, the wildfires were going to happen in January. Yeah, just seeing the Archbishop bless the city with the Blessed Sacrament has been such a gift.
Montse Alvarado, EWTN News Nightly.